All right. Good morning, everybody. We are here on the next episode of Tulsa Life Podcast with the lovely Lori Hudson from the Botanical Gardens. We're so excited to have you today.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Yeah. So I know I kind of got to know you just a little bit, but tell us who you are. Tell us what you do.
Sure. So I'm Director of Communications and Outreach at Tulsa Botanic Gardens. So I've been there longer than a lot of the staff. So they kind of talk to me about historical stuff. So I've been there about 10 or 11 years, which I really love it. And I really enjoy seeing how it's grown over time.
That is awesome. Okay. So you said botanic. I said botanical.
No difference.
Okay, there's not, because I'm like, okay, I totally screwed that up like right out of the gate.
No, we have that question all the time, and it's just one of those, grammatical things. Either one is correct.
So whichever one you prefer. You can say botanic, you can say botanical.
You can say botanical. Our official name is Tulsa Botanic Garden.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
there's no difference.
We're going to go with botanic then today. How many times can we say botanic in this podcast? That is going to be like, we're going to make it a game or something for everybody who's listening. Okay, so a lot of people don't even know that Tulsa has this amazing place. So tell us a little bit about the location, how long it's been there. We just had an event not too long ago. I know that Howard, our good friend, is on the board.
Yes.
And he is such a great promoter of the gardens. And you guys just had a big tulip festival.
Yeah. So we It's kind of interesting because we're not like on the beaten path like in Midtown where you're going to drive by every day like a lot of places. So we kind of have to remind people, hey, we're out there, and a lot of people haven't discovered us because of that.
I think you're right.
But I think once most people come out there, what I hear is, oh my gosh, it's not that far, and oh, it's such a beautiful drive. And you actually kind of get a little bit out of like middle of Tulsa. So we're 8 miles northwest of downtown, which, depends on where you live, is a longer drive or a shorter drive, but all the roads are good.
I was going to say, it's not a bad drive at all. Yeah. It's an easy drive.
It's a very easy drive, and there's great road signs, and what happens is we're actually in Osage County, so you're kind of just getting out of Tulsa. We're not in the city limits right now, but we will be someday. And we, granted, most of the people that we're talking to, or most of the people that are coming out to see us, are from Tulsa or the metro area.
Yes.
So.
And it's also, tell me, I don't know, I'm going to say this and you're going to be like, no, this is not an option. Is it a venue? Can you do, other events? I know that the events that I've been have just been for the Botanic Gardens, but is this something that you can actually rent the space?
Definitely. Yeah. So we do have an event space that we use for our own programming and things like that. But we've had weddings. It's one of those things naturally people think of weddings. And so we have weddings there, we have receptions, we have, reunions, birthday parties, you name it. People really are striked by the architecture of the building, or it's called our Maybe Grange building. Yeah. And it's beautiful.
Tell us a little bit about the layout, because I think when you do first come in, the gardens are big. I don't know how big they are, but tell us a little bit kind of like when you come in, how that works.
Yeah, so when you come in, so the other thing I like to tell people is, so we started, it's a garden from scratch, so to speak. So the land was donated. It's 170 acres.
Wow.
That was donated, but there was nothing there, literally no road in, no utilities. So so everything has been built.
How long ago?
That was like 2004, 2005.
Okay.
So over time.
Recently.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's been there forever. So what you guys have already done is amazing.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, and it's something most people don't kind of think of until they get out there, is the scale of it, because we have that space and because we're in this just beautiful area. With starting to get those rolling hills as you get into Osage County and go a little north of Tulsa, it's just gorgeous. But yeah, so we over time, we've put in our utilities, we've got roads, we've got buildings, we've got we've got a kind of small visitor center right now, but it works really well for us. Small little gift shop. And then what we really focused on as a garden was, we have a master plan. Sort of the thought process of it is that over time, we'll develop about 70 acres into gardens, facilities, things like that.
And it's already grown so much, even just from the short time that, I've known about it. In the last, 5-10 years. Yeah. There's been some huge improvements, and just the things that you guys have already done is amazing. So your background is actually in horticulture.
Yeah. So my background's in horticulture. I studied it in school, interned at Chicago Botanic Garden.
Oh, wow.
And so, so they've got a few years on us.
I was going to say, this might be a little bit different, but...
A little bit bigger, but that's kind of where I really, really learned that this is my passion, is public gardens and getting people in touch with, it's kind of one of those funny things where plants are all around us every day, but it's called, people in our business kind of call it plant blindness, because you just see green, but you don't know what you're looking at. So it's really interesting to, see kids, experience seeing hummingbirds on, vines and just all kinds of things for the first time.
Even just stopping to notice. Like, I think that's what is so beautiful about the Botanic Gardens, is that you actually are just there to enjoy it and stop and like literally smell the roses. Like,
exactly.
So it's a great opportunity. So this is interesting that you say that we don't notice. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe now, back in 2020, Zillow actually did a whole campaign over what the hottest trends were in decorating, like design, how you do things, and plants were the top trending thing that you use as in decor in your house. So it went from being like art or things that like furniture or even styles. It was really, people were really decluttering.
Yeah.
And then they were using plants, and people were really wanting to have that feel of that outdoors and space and freshness. And so it was like the top trending trend. I don't even know how to say that. Top trending decor trend. Yeah. In like 2020.
Yeah.
And has stayed consistent.
Yeah, it has. I think that, the pandemic has been, was one of those things that really stopped us all in our tracks. And so we saw that. Yeah. And we closed like everybody else. All the Tulsa attractions. And it was at the height of our, just about at the height of our, our tulip bloom. We do a huge show of bulbs every year. We plant about 100,000 a year, roughly. Wow. So I say it's like the biggest in the region. It's probably the biggest in the state.
I bet it is.
Yeah, I think so. So, and it's beautiful. And we had to close for that, but we really tried to, shift to digital and that kind of thing. And that, I think, for people, it just kind of, it's stuck, having that pleasure of having greenery in your home, or, kind of getting into gardening,
bringing
and
that freshness in, bringing that lively, vibrant, especially flowers and just that green. And like you said, like you don't even notice, you kind of go colorblind to it until you don't have it. And then you're like, oh my goodness, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So I love that. So your tulips are beautiful. You just kind of we just are coming out of tulip season.
Exactly, yeah.
And you had a big tulip show display there, and it was amazing. And I know that you have other things throughout the year. Like, what are the big things that kind of happen at the gardens? Yeah,
so the Tulsa Botanic blooms is the tulips and the daffodils and, all those other bulbs. Then in the fall, we do something called Autumn in the Botanic Garden. So we have scarecrows, people in the community make scarecrows. It can be, we've had schools, we've had businesses, you name it. They make a scarecrow, bring it out. We put it up. It has to survive about 6 weeks out in Oklahoma weather. So
it has to be pretty sturdy.
Yes. Yeah, it does. But what's kind of fun is then we have a ballot. And so when people come out for that festival, they can vote. And so we literally so we have a little ballot, and it's called the People's Choice Award. And so whoever, wins that gets a prize. And then we have a judge's award too. But literally last fall, we had like grown adults walking in going, where's the ballot? I need to vote. So
that is awesome. Now, how many different, did you say how many scarecrows you usually have?
We have usually 30 to 40. We want to grow that.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So that would be hard to vote.
It is.
I would think that would make it really difficult to pick.
So it is. They ask staff to, to help vote for the judge's favorite. And it's like, oh man, you've got all your favorites and then your favorite groups that make one, and you're kind of like, okay. But, and then on top of that, we have pumpkins that we sell. We do, we just, this week we'll be finishing up our spring bands in bloom. So we do concerts with our spring festival, and then we'll do it again in the fall. Usually about 6 to 7 weeks of concerts on Thursday night. So that's
like perfect weather.
Like
in the
weather.
Fall, you have outdoor bands, and you're getting to listen to live music.
Yes.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So we do that, and it's just a perfect time. And then in the holidays we do something called Botanic Garden of Lights, and so it's one of those kind of what you would think of as a downtime for us after we get into Thanksgiving and the holidays. We put up lights, and actually we're doing that starting in September. So we're doing that before we get into our autumn festival. But that's one of our newer festivals, and it's really, we really hear from people that they enjoy it.
I haven't
it's
been
a lot
to
of
that.
space. It's beautiful.
I need to go because I love Christmas.
Yeah.
It's my favorite season. It's my favorite holiday.
Yeah. And what we hear from people is we actually worked with our designer, our landscape architects. So I've overheard somebody, I was walking behind them as they were strolling through one year for our lights, and they were talking about what they were noticing about it. And they said, well, it's neat. Like there's different colors, but it's like it's design, and it's exactly that. We worked with our designer,
really
so we have color themes, and he's just one of the best in the country. And so we hear that, and it's very peaceful. We've got lots of space. Our limiting factor is parking, and so we can have up to 800,000 people a night, but you won't feel like it's crowded. We also do timed entry, so we kind of spread that out over the evening.
You do that a lot, yeah. Because when I've signed up to go to things, you kind of pick your time that you come. Yeah. Which makes it nice because I think it makes it nice too on our end. We're like, okay, we'll go to dinner and then we're going to go to this, or you'll go to this and you'll go to dinner. So it makes it really easier to plan on both sides.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing that you do out of all the things that you guys get to put on and host? What is your favorite?
Well, it's actually one of them that's coming up. It's one of the oldest events that we've done. It's called DIG. It's called Day in the Garden. Oh. And this is our 10th year to do it. So I was thinking we actually did this, I think, before, actually, our first time we did it was probably before we even had electricity out at the garden. We winged it.
Goodness.
We had electricity, but it was like a generator and that kind of thing. It wasn't like just switch the lights on.
It was a little bit of makeshift.
It was a little bit.
That's okay though. Those are the best times.
Yeah. And so it kind of, it's always been sort of focused on our Children's Discovery Garden, and it's a very family friendly event. It's a little bit of a fundraising event for us, but it's a very affordable ticket price, and it's on Mother's Day weekend. It's on the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend, and so people can come out, bring the family. What is fun about it is like the whole family comes, and a lot of times they bring the grandparents and all that kind of stuff.
It's fun for all, and that is one thing I love about it. Mm-hmm. It's good for all ages.
Definitely.
So if you have, like my mother-in-law is with us a lot. She's 85 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And she enjoys it. Now my 16-year-old maybe is getting to the point where he's like, yeah, he doesn't want to do much with me, but it's enjoyable for anybody. Yeah. Little kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they love running around because it's just open and outdoor, and it's nice. And so they can kind of run free.
Yeah.
And the photo opportunities are amazing.
Definitely.
So, if you're taking your family out, snap a few family photos while you're there, because it's just, you couldn't get a more beautiful backdrop, for pictures. It's just the grounds are beautiful. So kind of give us an experience, because for anybody who hasn't gone, give us an experience about, like, when people go walking, how long do most people stay? Because you're open. Tell us kind of when you're open and how that looks.
Yeah. So right now we're open 10 to 5 every day except Monday. We're closed on Mondays, but it's Tuesday through Sunday, so the weekends. And when in the spring and the fall, when we're doing those concerts, we'll stay open on Thursday nights till 8 o'clock, which is just anytime we do an evening event, I really encourage people to come out, because it's just a lovely time. Always very family friendly, but just a beautiful time to see the sunset coming down. There's, you're kind of out of the city, so you have this wonderful panoramic view.
You do feel like you're kind of out. It's a great feeling, because you're really close to Tulsa.
Yeah.
And you're really close to the hustle and bustle, but it's so quiet, and it's such a nice slow down.
Yeah, it's it's just a nice little decompressed drive out there, and then just slow the pace a little bit.
Yes.
And so it's, and then we have the Children's Discovery Garden. So and it was kind of funny. You mentioned your 16-year-old. And it's not the case all the time, but we have, I have pictures of, like, teenagers. We have an art wall where you paint with water on that. And I've got 16-year-olds. I have, like, a picture of two ladies, like, they're probably in their 50s, painting away, no kids around. They're just painting.
They're just having fun.
So it's kind of fun that we capture that feel for all ages, hopefully. And then our Tandy Floral Terraces has tons of flowers and things like that. And then we're going to be opening 2 new gardens, and that's a huge deal. Those will be opening soon, probably late June or July.
So you're hearing it here first.
Yeah.
There's lots of awesome things happening, things coming up. So again, tell us the location.
Sure.
How do people go? Your hours, you said you're open right now. It's summertime, which right now we're coming into summertime.
Yes.
We're not really summer. I guess we are. I don't know.
We're getting close.
We're May. So it doesn't
both.
feel like it's summertime yet.
Yeah.
It's still a little bit chilly out there.
Yeah. So right now, we'll probably stay with that model, but for the summer, we may shift our hours to open a little bit earlier to try to beat the heat a little bit. So, but yeah, we're just 8 miles northwest of downtown. It's 3900 Tulsa Botanic Drive. If you go to our website, tulsabotanic.org.
You did that perfectly. I was going to say, how do people find you? Yes, that's perfect. Keep going.
Yeah. So we make sure that map's there, that you can find us real easy and get directions, and there's good road signs and things like that. And but yeah, I would really encourage people to check out our website. We've got all kinds of activities, everything from like infused workshops with like for folks with the bartender, like where we infuse liqueur,
like
liquor.
Drinks,
Yes, that kind of stuff
cool.
too. We just did a bird watching walk, so just all kinds of things to kind of hit
the
everybody.
Infusions sound really cool. So that's stuff that you can just infuse in your drinks.
Yes, botanicals.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
Yeah, so it's really a lot of fun.
That is awesome. So if you haven't been to Tulsa Botanic Garden, see, now I'm actually knowing what I'm saying here. I sound a lot smarter at the end of the podcast than we did at the beginning. But if you haven't been, go check it out. It's amazing. It's fun for all ages. Lori has been here today. She is like the mastermind behind everything. She's been